did you get this story?
I was riding in a big old Oldsmobile taxi cab in Turkey near Ephesus with some people I had met while I was working as a stagehand in Switzerland when I first heard of this story. We were riding down a mountain from a little stone house where Mary, the mother of Jesus, was said to have lived the last years of her life. And one of the women in the car said to another woman in the car, "Now, which Mary would this have been?" Mary and her husband, the carpenter, then returned home to their home in Nazareth. And this child continued to radiate such pure innocence from a warm and loving heart that everyone who came into his presence felt blessed and was filled with peace and compassion. Even the wild wolf came and sat quietly near him and was tame. And yet, this child was so simple and dreamy and even backward that he seemed to be almost completely unable to learn or to take up any skills or knowledge from the people around him. So much so that the other children in that community in Nazareth made fun of him, scorned and ridiculed him, especially the children of that other family who soon came from Egypt. All of the children of that other family, except the eldest son. That wise, wakeful child did not scorn or ridicule or make fun of this simple, dreamy child, but befriended him. Although these two boys could not have been more different, the one simple and dreamy and backward, and the other wise and wakeful and alert, they were, nevertheless, as friends, almost inseparable. Their mothers also became friends. That pure, innocent young Mary, who had grown up in the paradisal landscape of Galilee, and that mature, learned wife of old Joseph of Bethlehem, who had grown up in the city, in the temple in Jerusalem. These two women became close, close friends. And when this simple, dreamy child was in his 12th year, he traveled with his parents, Mary and the young carpenter, and with the other families of that community in Nazareth, to the south, into Jerusalem, as was the tradition for the Passover feast. When the Passover festivities were over and they were traveling homeward on the road toward Nazareth, Mary and her husband, the carpenter, suddenly realized that their simple, dreamy son was not with them. They had assumed that he was with his dear friend and his family, or with one of the other families of the community. But when they realized that he was nowhere among their traveling party, Mary and her husband, the carpenter, returned into Jerusalem to search for him. They searched for 3 days. And on the 3rd day, they came into the temple. And there they saw their child, who had been so simple and dreamy and backward, sitting among the rabbis and teachers, speaking with them, conversing with them, asking them questions and answering their questions. He spoke with wisdom and insight that not only far surpassed what could be expected of this child, and not only far surpassed what could be expected of any child of that age, but he spoke with wisdom and insight that far surpassed that of the wisest teachers and rabbis. His parents were astonished. And when they returned home with him to Nazareth, he continued to grow in wisdom and stature and grace. But his mother, that pure, innocent young Mary, then grew inexplicably weak. And then she died.